Hi, Cassie Oelberg from Sealands Grove, Pennsylvania here. Oh my goodness. It is cold out there. Anybody else in any part of the world cold? Because I don't know about you, but Pennsylvania is about as cold as you can get. Our pipes in our old farmhouse froze, and then one of them decided to crack and water, and it was lovely. And now we can't wash clothes until we get some other things figured out. We even have cute little heater things that go around the pipes to keep them warm, but apparently it didn't work. Thankfully, inside our house it is warm, so no complaints. Life is still good. Everything's great. But yeah, it's a little cold in Pennsylvania. So anyway, on that thought, let's do something warm. We're going to do fun stuff with On the Bright Side. So really excited about this because it is a fun new collection, and we're going to talk a little bit about it. I don't know if you have done a project recipe before, but with the new collections, the 3 new collections that have the entire box of simple page kits with them, there are not going to be project recipes, which is something special that you can get from your advisor. I know my people are very used to them, and if you're not, just reach out to your advisor or me. Let me know if you don't have one, and an advisor, that is. Anyway, so there's something really fun, but we didn't come out with them for the 3 collections, the travel one, the natural beginnings, and the On the Bright Side, because they have an entire amazing box of really awesome simple page kits ready to go. So a beginner, an advanced person, anybody at all can get an album done super fast. But then we also have all of the beautiful decorative things. So let's go talk about that. Let's go. Whoopsie. That's not what I meant to do. Let's hop on over here, and we're going to pull this up. And I had some people say yes, they would like some more stuff about On the Bright Side. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, this collection is super pretty, and it has tonal paper and it has decorative paper that go nicely together. And if you get the whole bundle, or even if you just want to order the project playbook separately, then it actually has this cut guide and these pretty papers. So I don't know if you guys have noticed that each collection we come out with, we have been coming out with these great project guidebooks, which give you ideas of what to do with the paper, exactly how to cut it, and what to do. But then we also usually have something called a project recipe. And this is something that you can print out if you're an advisor. If you're not, you just ask your advisor, and I'm sure she'd happily help you with it. And it's something fun so that we have some cool classes that we can offer. Now, these newest collections don't have that. But what's really great is that we have all kinds of archives of fun stuff we can do. So I'm going to show you how to mix it up a little bit. So you could use a sketch to do this, and we do that every single week. I'm going to show you what to do if you want more cut things. So you're using a project recipe, but maybe the collection you have doesn't have one, or maybe you have a project recipe from another collection and you want to move it into what you're doing. So the first thing you do is you look at all the parts and pieces and you decide what you want. Now, I am going to use this beautiful piece of paper for this top and bottom part. And when I do that, I don't feel like I need all of these squares. So I'm going to take those out when I do the cutting. However, I want to use this really fun new whimsical punch. It's super cute, and I want to double layer it. So I'm going to just talk a little bit about how to do that as we do it. Okay, so project recipes usually have 2 parts to it. It has the sheet that shows you how to put it all together. It has the written instructions, which if you know me at all, you know I never actually read. And it has the cut guide, which is what I actually use. Now, sometimes I do have to come back here and read this if I can't figure it out from the cut guide. But I am a very quick and get it done kind of a girl. And reading all of these words puts me over the edge. So I'm just being honest, truthful, how I do my things. Okay. So you bring it out, and I always tell my people, choose your bases first, because if you don't choose your bases, you might accidentally cut it, and that's what you wanted to use to build on. So these are going to be my bases. Oftentimes, I have people say, well, I want my bases to match, and then oftentimes I recommend they use cardstock if that's what they want to do. But I'm going to use these 2. They're both pretty simple papers, and it's just going to add some fun across the pages, and so those are my bases. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to need are these two 3-inch strips. And as I said before, I'm going to cut those out of this beautiful, beautiful piece of paper. I love all the colors. I love how fun it is. And so I just need 2 3-inch pieces. I think I'm going to turn this to this side to do the other one because these get kind of tiny. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to cut it here. And these are going to be the borders that you saw across the top and the bottom of the page. I'm going to use this side of the page to make some punches in just a second. So first I'm going to bring these back up. And I'm just going to show you where they go. Oftentimes, when I'm teaching a class, I tell people to go ahead and wait to put the pieces down until they know exactly, what pieces they cut, and they can flip-flop and just double check it's what they want. But I am going to go ahead and I'm going to tape these down because I kind of pre-thought this one out a little bit. And I did it as a class for my customers a couple of weeks ago. And so you just kind of, after you get your cuts done, you kind of flip them around and decide, is this really what I wanted? Like, is that where I want my piece to go? And if you lay it all out first, then you can make some other decisions. But like I said, I already taught this a couple of times, so I had already kind of envisioned what I was going to be doing. So there we go, the top and the bottom. And that is this and this piece. So next up, I am going to cut these. And remember, I already told you I am not actually going to cut all of these squares. I'm also not going to do this because I'm going to cut this out of my cardstock that I chose to use, and we'll do that in just a second. So we're going to cut these mats, and we need 3 4x6 mats. So that's pretty simple to do. We're just going to come through, and we're going to cut it at 4 inches twice. Well, we need 3 of them, right? Did I say 3? I did. Okay. So actually what we're going to do, I like math. We're going to cut 6 inches. That way we still have a 6-inch piece of paper to use for something else. And then we're going to go 4 3 times, and we can get them all out of one strip. So when I'm cutting paper, I often think about, how am I going to maximize use of this paper? So I'm thinking about directions. I'm thinking about, orientations of the paper, but I'm also thinking about, okay, how do I get those 3 4x6 mats out of the paper, and what is going to be the best way to have paper for later? And for me, that's what that was. So then I'm going to take those 1/4-inch strips that are going to go here and here, and I'm actually going to cut them out of this gorgeous paper. Remember, a 1/4 of an inch is going to come. This is how I always double check myself, because it doesn't matter how many times you do something, sometimes you forget. So this is a 12-inch piece of paper. If I slide this over to 11 3/4, then what I was just going to tell you was it's to the edge of the gray mat to get to the 1/4 of an inch. And that's how you can double check yourself. And I just wanted to point that out because I always second guess myself when I go to do my cutting. And this is a good way to not have to worry that whether you're doing it right or not. You just measure it over, and then you know. Like, yep, I'm remembering that right. So you're going to bring this over to the 1/4 of an inch, which is the edge of the gray mat. And it's good to line it up all the way top to bottom, because this is the easiest spot to end up with a crooked piece, because it's skinny. So even if it's a little bit off, it's going to be wrong. Okay. So now we're going to put these down. I'm going to just move this so that I can use my silicone mat. Love this thing. Hey guys, if you love the silicone mat as much as I do, make sure that you let Creative Memories know so that we make some more, because I think anybody new coming into scrapbooking is going to want this. And so we need to help those people out, like help a girl out. So if you just send a message to Creative Memories and let them know, then hopefully they will bring that back out. But see, I like how this bright solar yellow, it just really brightens up the page, right? Okay, So let's look and see what else we have. So we have our big mats. Now we need all those little mats. If you look, this one right here is a big mat, and it goes across here. So this is what I tell my people to do. Put it down. Don't put it down. Just kind of lay it there so you know where it's going to go. And the reason that I say that is because later on, you might need it to be like this to be the perfect spot on the photo. Or you might need it to be like this to be the perfect spot on the photo. So if you don't tape that down, you still have the option to switch your picture up a little bit if you need to. So these are going to go here. I'm going to need these little banners, and I am going to need these little mats. And if we pull this over, we can see where those come from. Oh, I forgot. I want to do borders out of this. So I usually do my borders first because, as you know, you need some extra paper down here to be able to put it in there. And that way you make sure that you are cutting it the way you want. So I am going to start this right here is where it cuts between these black lines. So I'm going to start it at this black line. Now it's important that you go ahead and start it at the right place for this particular one. And it's because we're going to come back and do something else with some other borders. And if you start it in a different spot, then you're not going to be able to do what I'm going to tell you how to do. So this just means I started it just a tiny tad. Okay. Now we're going to do this again. I'm flipping it because this is one of those magical punches that has a triangle that shows you exactly where to punch. And so it leaves little triangles on the paper. I will cut those off when I'm all done. But I'm not going to take the time to bring my trimmer over and cut when I can just flip it around. Okay. So we're going to do this. And those are our first two. Now we're going to double layer these. And when I double layer things, I like to start them in a different spot because it just gives it a really fun look. Usually when I do that, I start at the edge, but I pre-played around with this punch to prep for this video. And if you start here, it really still looks the same. So we are actually going to start halfway between this black line and the edge. Just envision a little line there. I'm going to pull this over to use. And so it's starting, let me just pull this up to the camera so you can see. It's just starting halfway between the black line and the edge of this. And the reason is so that it starts in another spot and we can layer them, and it's just going to look really cool. You'll see in a minute. Just trust me. Just trust me. Okay. So we're going to bring this all the way across. And then I call this going around the horn. You can call it whatever you want. But the point is you're going to bring it back, feed it back through the other side, use the little triangle to line it up, and then you cut that part off of there. Then I'm going to just do exactly what I did with the yellow paper. I'm going to flip it. Then I'm going to start it in the same spot. So, see, halfway between. And we're just going to punch across. Easy peasy. So this is going to come all the way over. It was so fun how many people said they wanted to see ideas with bright sides. So I hope that this was kind of the thought process that you had when you voted for that. Okay, we're going to bring this over here, line it up on the triangle, and voila, we have made our two borders. Okay, back to our yellow, because now we need to cut these little mats. And if we look at our cut guide, it tells us that these are 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. So first we're going to cut this off. And we're going to go ahead and cut off over here too. Get rid rid of those little triangles, and let's see how thick our paper is. So almost 8.5. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do 4 1/4 plus 4 1/4 is 8.5, and we might not have quite enough to do that. So we're going to do our 2 3 1/4 inch cuts. Because 6.5 is definitely going to fit. Then we're going to bring it over. We're going to do our 4 1/4 2 times. So 1, 2. And now we need those little banners that we were talking about. Those little banners are 1 1/4 by 3 1/4. So I think this is, let's see, this is our 3 1/4. So we'll turn it this way and do 1 1/4 2 times. And then with banners, super fun and simple. If you have 2 pieces of paper and you want your banners to be the same, then you can just stack them. That way you cut the banner at the same time, and you kind of do a little fold over, which is a little bit harder with double stacked cardstock, but not impossible. And you're going to measure up however far you want. So I'm going to come up about this far. From the folded side has to be where you come up, down to the open side. And I emphasize this because I had a couple of people in my class that I didn't say folded side up and down to the open side, and they didn't quite get that. So I'll just emphasize it. Okay, so now these are going to come. This picture is going to go. I'm going to go ahead and put it here for measurement purposes. I'm going to put this over here, and I'm just going to use a little bit of tape in case I want to slide it a little bit later. So you don't need a lot of tape there. Just, you might want to slide those ones around a little bit later. And then these are going to come right in here, our little banners. And see how our banners are exactly the same because we cut them together. Okay. And now we're going to take all these cute little mats. And so we're going to go up here. And so we're going to go down here. And then we're going to talk about layering the borders and one of my favorite new things, which is thin foam squares. Thin foam squares, if you have not seen these yet, they are awesome. I love to give a little depth sometimes in my designs, but I don't like my album to get so super thick because I tend to put a lot of pages in it. So thin foam squares is kind of a little tiny bit of a compromise. You get some height, but not a lot of it. So I'm going to bring this up, and I'm going to put my first one down. And I'll just measure. It's going to come down 1 inch. And this is just in lieu of those squares. I wanted to do a layering thing instead. So this is going to come over here. And it's just fun to be able to take it and make it something a little bit different than what it was, right? And then I'm going to take these, and because I started in a different spot, see, it's in a different spot. So then I just take it, and I'm going to add a few foam squares to give it just a tiny bit of depth. But remember, these are thin foam squares. Thin foam squares are wonderful. Highly, highly, highly recommend. I don't know what genius came up with them, but thank you. Sometimes I just imagine these genius people designing things just for me. Like, what would make Cassie happy? Ah, thin foam squares would make her happy. Let's do that. Because I live in my own little world. It's happy here. Okay, so then this is going to go down. And it's just going to layer on top of there. Look at how nice that turns out. And then we're going to bring this over here. Let's make Sure we got the right. Oh, there we go. Okay, and we're going to flip it. And 2 more here. I like lots of them so it doesn't collapse well, you know, doesn't get squished in there. And look how fun that is. And then if you're a thick person, you could actually, you know, like if you like your things to have even more depth, you could add a 3rd layer with regular foam squares. So these foam squares can be for the people who like lots and lots of layers. They can be for the ones who don't like it to get too thick, but like a little bit of a layer. I mean, they were thinking of a lot of us when they did this. They're so thoughtful. And voila. And now that is the project recipe. So again, it is something that advisors can pull out. It has cut guides. They are awesome. If you talk to your advisor, I'm sure she either has classes or would be happy to direct you to this, send you the file or print it. If you don't have an advisor, I can definitely help you with that. And I guess that's it. That was everything I wanted to tell you about. So I hope that you learned something and had fun and are excited about On the Bright Side, because we all need some on the bright side right now in this bitter cold, crazy, crazy weather. I hope you're staying warm. I hope your pipes are not freezing. And have a great day. Thanks so much.